This is the most wide open race for the NBA championship in a pretty long time. Almost every quote-unquote contender has a certain flaw that can be exploited by the right team in a playoff series. On top of that, injuries in a shortened season have made it that much more difficult to predict a clear-cut favorite. But a few teams are sure to be feeling some extra pressure entering the postseason. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, LA Clippers, Portland Trail Blazers, and Phoenix Suns, how far they go into the playoffs this season could have serious implications about the future of those franchises. For those teams, the pressure is on. Will they succeed or will they crumble? When the Bucks inked Giannis Antetokounmpo to a 5-year Supermax contract extension, Bucks fans took a big sigh of relief. And for good reason. Keeping a 2-time MVP and 1-time Defensive Player of the Year locked in for the foreseeable future is no doubt the right move. In those 2 MVP campaigns, the Bucks finished with the best record in the Eastern Conference, but have flamed out in the playoffs, both times to teams that went on to either win the NBA championship or go to the NBA Finals. This offseason, they traded Eric Bledsoe in exchange for Drew Holiday, a more proven playoff player who fits in seamlessly with the Bucks defense and could be the key to the Bucks getting over the hump this postseason. The Bucks are all but locked in to finish with a top 3 record in the East again. And if this postseason run ends just like the last 2, someone will have to be held responsible, and that somebody will most likely be Coach Mike Budenholzer. The Athletics champ Sharania already listed Coach Bud as one of the 5 NBA coaches on the hot seat headed into the postseason. And it makes sense. Whether it be in his previous job with the Atlanta Hawks or now with the Bucks, Bud has proven that he can lead a team to fruitful regular seasons, but his inability to adjust in the playoffs, especially on a game-to-game basis, has caused disappointing postseason runs for any team he's coached. To Bud's credit, he has improved this season, but so often in sports, head coaches end up being the scapegoats when there isn't anyone else to really claim responsibility. And it might not just be Bud. Bucks GM John Horst has been heavily criticized in the past, whether it is because he traded away an all-star caliber player in Malcolm Brogdon, or flubbing on the preseason sign-and trade for now Hawks guard Bogdan Bogdanovic.
I think I may have made a big mistake.
And with the core of Drew, Giannis, and Chris Middleton making up over $104 million of the Bucks' payroll next season, there is very little that can be done with the roster to improve their odds next season in an Eastern Conference that is only getting better. So yes, while Giannis is technically signed on to stay in Milwaukee for the next 5 years, him asking for a trade sooner rather than later wouldn't be surprising. We've seen it before with other superstars.
I want to go!
And there's a lot of questions about Giannis himself, whose postseason play has been put under a microscope. I say all that to say this. This may be the most important playoff run for the Bucks since they won the NBA championship in 1971. The pressure is on. The Trailblazers also suffer from much of the same ailments the Bucks do. Aside from their incredible Western Conference Finals run in 2019, the core of Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and head coach Terry Stotts have been responsible for 2 second-round exits and 4 first-round exits, including 2 back-to-back sweeps in 2017 and 2018. Stotts, who has coached the Blazers for the past 9 seasons, was also listed on Sham's list of head coaches on the hot seat. Lakers assistant Jason Kidd and former Blazers head coach and current Hawks interim coach Nate McMillan were mentioned as possible replacement candidates. Unless Stotts and the Blazers can pull off a miracle, his time with Portland is over.
It's over. Go home.
The team has seen constant injuries to their supporting cast, and the duo of McCollum and Lillard have proven to be abysmal defensively year in and year out. And just like the Bucks, with Lillard and McCollum set to make just over $75 million next season combined, it leaves very little room for the team to make any significant roster changes. Could moving McCollum make sense for them this summer? Would his value around the league be enough to keep the Blazers competitive? Or just like Giannis, will it be the final straw before Lillard, who has been nothing but loyal to the franchise, asks out of Portland? For the Sixers, this postseason is a chance to prove that the quote-unquote process is finally over. Over the years, the constant question around the team has been if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can work together on a basketball court. Through years of faulty rosters with awkward fits around their two superstars, they've managed to have 3 playoff appearances with 2 second-round exits to claim for it. But this year's Sixers roster is more well-balanced, and players like Danny Green and Seth Curry have proved to be the perfect type of players to provide spacing for the likes of Simmons, a non-shooter, and Embiid, a dominant force in the paint. Now, the expectations are for this team to succeed in the postseason, and anything short of a conference finals run could give Daryl Morey enough reason to end this Simmons-Embiid experiment. And with Embiid having an MVP caliber season, it's easy to see Simmons being the odd one out in the equation. Similar to the Sixers, the Clippers had expectations they failed to meet last season. After an embarrassing second-round upset at the hands of the Denver Nuggets, the Clippers need to prove that the combination of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard works. And while George is signed on to be a Clipper long-term, Leonard can opt out of his player option this summer and explore his options. The chances of Kawhi choosing to move elsewhere after decidedly wanting to come to Los Angeles is slim to none. But again, stranger things have happened.
It's crazy, but stranger things have happened.
No, they haven't.
Kawhi is about to turn 30 and George is 32. How much longer can the Clippers organization take constant playoff failure? For the Suns, Chris Paul has helped them exceed every expectation they had coming into the season, and they're one of only 3 teams in the league that are both top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency. But Paul is 36 years old and has a player option next season worth over $44 million. And while it seems like Paul is going to defeat Father Time year in and year out, at some point age is going to catch up with him.
Older the bear, the sweeter the juice.
This very well could be Paul's last best chance at the elusive NBA championship. Heck, even the NBA Finals. With injuries to Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, the West is wide open for the Suns to do something unbelievable. But the pressure is on for them to prove that the skepticism surrounding them is just that, skepticism. For all these teams, the pressure means something different. For the Bucks or Blazers, failure in the playoffs could mark the beginning of the end for their franchise cornerstones. For the Sixers and Clippers, it's their chance to prove that their experiments with their 2 respective superstars have finally paid off. And for the Suns and Paul, the pressure is on to prove that he is in fact a winner at the highest level. Essentially, these teams and players need to meet and exceed expectations that have been put in front of them. And the stakes have never been higher to prove people wrong. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.